This is an agency I started from $0 just 5 weeks ago. This was it on day 1. Day 10, we were literally negative $2,000. Day 13, day 33, and this is it now. Over $60,000 a month, with about $40,000 of that being in profit, all documented live. I used to be a fat 16-year-old that was making $15 an hour working at a golf course. Now, a few years later, at 20, I've made over $1 million using AI on the internet. And no, I did not get lucky. So to prove it, I wiped away everything and started a new agency to prove it's not luck. And I filmed every single part of it. The niche, the offer, the problems, the first close, all of it. Nothing is edited out. And by the end, hopefully you'll be able to take my exact system and copy it for yourself. So let me take you back to day 1. It all started on a call with my partner Wyatt. And we already run companies that do pretty well up to this point and been in the agency game for years, but we wanted to put ourselves up to a new challenge. So our plan was simple. We were going to pair 2 extremely valuable solutions and systems that we can sell to local business owners that would be ads that we use AI for, that we run on social media, so like Facebook and Instagram for all the clients we work with. And then we pair those AI ads alongside an AI voice receptionist or an AI caller to do all of the automatic follow-up and book new leads we get for our clients through these ads directly onto our client's calendar. It's a full in-depth system that essentially all a client does when they work with us. They just show up to the appointments we book for them. And as a bonus, we are also going to place them a salesperson to actually help close these deals as well, which is something nobody else is offering. Now, on paper, this was a great offer, but the problem is there's so many different industries of boring local service-based businesses that you can sell this to. Real estate agents, roofers, med spas. But we wanted to do something that nobody was touching and there was pretty much no competition in. And we knew this would make this way easier as we go through this entire challenge. The industry and the niche we're going after is stem cell clinics, okay? And that's when we landed on the perfect option, which would be stem cell clinics. The second we look at the numbers, it all made sense in the industry. A lot of these clinics make a ton of money, and they make not only a ton of money for themselves, but they make a bunch of money per customer they get in through the door. It's not like a restaurant where an average customer pays $30 or $50 as they walk in and then they walk out. These are where patients walk in and pay anywhere from $10,000 to even $20,000 plus for one singular treatment. And what this meant for us is this system that we can build for them has to only get them 1 or 2 new patients a month for the return on our service to be exponential. And people literally fly out to the clinic to get these type of treatments, meaning a lot of the clients we'd work with, we could advertise across the entire nation for their service, not just inside their little town. So overall, they have short sales cycles, insane margins, and almost nobody in the space was going after them. And I've genuinely heard of nobody else doing it. So we had the offer and we knew who we wanted to sell to. So we priced our service at $15,000 for a 90-day service. And yes, I know that price might sound crazy, but keep in mind, I've been in the agency game and running marketing agencies for years publicly on this YouTube channel. So I know what works and I know what doesn't, and I know what value we can bring to a client, assuming it's a good partnership. And they would make way more than this $15,000 that they pay us up front working with us and being successful. And then to actually deliver this service, we brought on our buddy Peter, who's been in the medical marketing space for a very long time and actually was a student of mine literally under just a couple years ago. He'd scaled different medical clinics from $20K a month all the way up to $100K a month, meaning he understood what it took to actually make sure we had the correct fulfillment. And that was the plan. Now we just had to build the entire machine out. So the second day 1 wrapped up, we had a huge list of things to get done. And we just split it up between the 3 of us so we could actually get it done as soon as possible. And our timeline was we have 7 days to get the entire business set up. So then in 7 days, we'd have our ads live for our agency and booking sales calls with these stem cell clinics to close them on our offer. Now, the first big thing was the back end. We built the entire thing inside of one tool called GoHighLevel. The website, the funnels, the calendars, the automation, the appointment reminders, everything is held inside of this one big CRM and tool that almost every agency owner needs to succeed. And this will allow these stem cell clinics that are interested in our service to actually be able to book on our calendar and actually be able to speak with us and potentially buy our service. And real quick, if you want to follow the exact steps and get a ton of extra bonuses alongside all the things I used inside this challenge, you can sign up for GoHighLevel using the top link in the description below and get 30 days completely for free alongside my free mentorship group, a ton of calls every single week that you can show up to, including calls with me and actually people from my agency team today, 10 hours worth of content on training, building your agency today, and a community full of people crushing and winning. And honestly, I think it makes a lot more sense for me to give something out to you guys completely for free rather than put a huge paywall behind it, because if you benefit, I benefit. benefit in the long term, assuming you continue to use high level. So you can sign up in the top link in the description below. And I actually give a ton of extra help out to those that take action inside the group. So there'll be more on that later. But the next thing we needed was ads. And for that, we needed somebody who is professional and good to actually speak on camera and film these ads that we'd script out. So we brought in this UGC creator that Peter already had a connection to. Basically, it's a girl who's really good at reading scripts on camera and making these type of video ads we needed. So then we wrote these scripts, sent them over to her, and had all the ads filmed out by her just within a day or two. And in the meantime, we also cooked up some pretty good image ads that we could use as a replacement if we needed as well, just to have as backup. And while she was filming all these videos, I hired a guy off Upwork to pull me a giant lead list of every single stem cell clinic we could possible inside the US and put it all onto one big spreadsheet. And no, this wasn't so I could text them one by one to actually try to have them buy my service. With that list, I could use this once we launch our own ads to target these business owners and do what's called a lookalike audience. A lookalike audience side of Facebook is where you upload some sort of CSV file or just big spreadsheet full of lead data, and you can target people super similar to that list you provide Facebook, meaning we'd have a huge edge on anyone else as our competition trying to do the same thing as us. Since we're gonna spend probably about $500 a day off the bat, we're gonna have a broad ad set, we're gonna have an interest stack ad set, and then we're gonna have a lookalike audience ad set. Basically, you just give Meta your dream customers and says, go find more people like this. So now we've got the back end set up fully complete, the ad creatives coming in, and the targeting all set up. And we structured the campaign around 3 total different audiences that we'd run at the same time to split test which one would do best. A broad one, an interest stack one, and then the lookalike audience that I was just mentioning earlier. All spending up to a total of $500 a day on ads. And the whole point of this being so we could really split test and figure out which is the winning ad set and the targeting options that we want to use, so then we can force all the spend to whichever one does best. And then we finally did the thing that most people are afraid to do, which is turning it on. We turned on the ad campaign, and that means the entire business was set up in just under a week. But I guess this kind of wraps up day one. Really, we've got everything, the main key parts down. Now we just got to start building out the foundation for it. And I kind of wish getting it launched was the worst part of our problems, because within just 48 hours, we saw a huge hole in our system that was going to hold us back weeks, if not months, if we didn't fix it, and waste us a ton of money. Now, the first problem was a big one. Our texting wasn't even switched on, which means we were spending money every single day on ads to get these interested stem cell clinics to come to us and say, hey, look, and raise my hand, I want your service. But once they come in, they wouldn't even get a text from us. And we physically could not text one of them back. Because of that, there's a verification called the A2P verification process you have to go through inside of GoHighLevel to get your phone number approved. And ours just has not gone through yet. So on day 6, it was literally just scrambling to get that approved. And we even paid extra to try and rush it. And we had to pause the ads again, wait, and see what would actually happen. And this was super annoying because it pretty much killed all the momentum we felt like we had at this current time. But finally, on day 8, it got approved. So we switched everything back on. We got it finally approved. Again, you guys understand this stuff can be super annoying with A2P and all that. Then the second problem showed up, and this was on the sales side. We had hired 2 salespeople to join our team and help us with the whole operation. A setter to first qualify on the phone and call all the new clinics that opt into our service and make sure they're a good fit, and then a closer to actually jump on Zoom with the clinic owner and collect payment on the call. And that handoff that we'd set up kept just losing people in the middle, and we were just wasting a bunch of opportunity.
We'll make that change tomorrow, Wyatt, if you want to just get them out. We'll have Jacob take all the calls tomorrow.
So we made the call to cut the setter that we actually had and let our closer Jacob run the entire sales side. He'd be the guy from start to finish that these new clinics that opt in would speak to, from on the phone call all the way onto the Zoom call and being closed there. This fixed our sales problem practically overnight. And then our third problem was probably the worst one, which is when I actually sat down and I looked at the bank and what was sitting in there. On day 10, we were sitting at negative $2,000 so far on money on just ads to UGC creators and just overall expenses in the business. And this was negative because at this point, of course, we haven't made any money. And if I'm being honest, we were all a little bit freaked out and we didn't know if it was fully going to work. But I knew that's how business is, and we kept going and we kept pushing and had faith in the system we set up. And on day 13, it finally happened. Now, when we first launched our campaign, it was the image ads that actually got the super good cost per lead, and they were coming in super cheap. But because of this, I kind of shot myself in the foot here, because I looked at all the data and I looked at the leads that were coming through these image ads, and I was convinced it was just super low intent clinic owners who honestly didn't even really care about getting our service. And I didn't think anyone that was coming through these image ads would actually buy from us. So I made the call to turn off our image ads and dump all of our daily ad spend into the video ads that the UGC creator made for us. because in my head, I thought that videos would get way higher intent people coming through our funnel, meaning these people would actually want to buy our service. But the problem here was I saw that the video ads that we were spending money on weren't getting any leads. Like, we got a couple leads here and there, but it was not many. And it made it super expensive to run ads, and it just felt like we were just burning money on something that didn't actually work. I was completely wrong here though. Right as I went back to the image ads and put some real spend behind them, we immediately started to get an inflow of people who were actually interested in buying. I don't really know what the difference was here. I just turned the image ads off and turned them back on again, and it felt like the quality was so much better. And on day 13, the first close finally happened. Jacob talked to a clinic owner that morning and then booked the second Zoom call that they had later in the day that night. And by 8:37 p.m., they closed.
About the payment? Yep, we got it.
She paid us a total of $5,000 upfront for the service, which was huge considering we were only 2 weeks in. And yes, it wasn't the full $15,000. This $5,000 was split up over a certain time frame, meaning this person may pay $5,000 now, $5,000 in 30 days, and then the next $5,000 at a later date. But at this point, I really thought the challenge would be smooth sailing from here because we knew what worked, we knew what the people we were selling to actually wanted, and now all we had to do was sell, right? And after this first close, it went quiet again. A couple calls here, a couple no-shows there. It was moving and we were still talking to interested people, but everything just felt slow. And honestly, I wasn't too sure why because nothing has changed in our process overall. The ads were the same. Our salesperson, Jacob, of course, was the same, but there was something I didn't see yet up to this point. Those image ads that we were running were stacking all these people in our pipeline this entire time. And all these clinic owners were in conversations with us, just deciding if it was the right choice or not. And a lot of them were on the fence leaning towards a yes. Just none of them have actually crossed the line yet and made the leap of faith to pay us. But then on day 33, it hit. And I want to actually walk you through this just hour by hour because it's the craziest thing I've ever seen in a challenge like this. It starts off in the morning. I wake up and I see a message from Peter saying he got us a new sale. A new clinic just paid us $10,000 completely upfront straight through financing. And this was before I even really started my day. We were already $10,000 in. Now, a little later, Peter and I actually hopped on the onboarding call we had from the person that closed on day 13 and paid us $5,000. Now, there were some negotiations on this call and we resolved on giving a $1,500 discount from the remainder $10,000 that was owed to us, meaning we would get 8.5K on this onboarding call. Then we got them fully onboarded and ready to go. So that's so far $10,000 that we got in the morning from the financing deal and $8,500 that we got on this onboarding call. And the day wasn't even over yet. Jacob gets on another call and it's his third follow-up with the same clinic. And these are people he's been talking to for weeks at this point. And right there on the call, they closed. Another $9,500 completely upfront. And that's when I looked in the sales chat in the Slack channel we have for the sales team and it hit me. $28,000 in just one single day. And I'm just sitting there like, this is insane. And all of these people came from those image ads initially that I thought weren't working. Jacob had more sales calls in the day that he would eventually end up taking and try to push the day past 40 grand. Now, unfortunately, he didn't close those calls, but our run didn't stop here because now the pipeline's actually flowing and deals are finally coming through over the people we've been chatting with for weeks. And a couple days later, on day 36, Jacob had another call that he ended up closing for $5,000 again up front. And I'll be honest with you, at this point, it finally hit me that we went completely into a new industry that I had never touched in my entire life. I genuinely thought we'd make maybe 10 or 20 grand max, but we literally doubled that. And it just kept going. On the last day of the challenge, which was day 38, we closed another late night deal on a guy that got set up on a payment plan directly with us because his financing got declined. And we had deals that were closing at 1 a.m. at this point. The calendar for next week on Monday had 9 calls stacked on it. The cost to actually book calls through the ads we were running dropped to about $85 per appointment. And this thing just felt like it was a crazy machine that we couldn't be stopped. But here's the thing I had to start realizing as we were scaling so quickly. It wasn't where would we get the next deal or how much money would we make in the next couple days, although that's of course a priority and that's cool. It's how do we make sure this entire system doesn't completely fall apart? Because we were onboarding so many clients at once that our system started to break. And that's a good problem, and that's a problem every business owner should have at some point. But of course, it's a problem that needs fixing. So instead of chasing more sales, Peter and I spent all the time we could building our back-end process and systems to help fulfill for all of our clients in a super systematic way. We started bringing in a client success manager to actually manage all of our clients for us and take the onboarding calls. And a media buyer we also brought on to actually manage all the ads. So this business could actually run without me in the trenches every single day, spending 12 hours a day. And I could almost sit back, manage, make sure people are in the right order, and they would handle it for me. And then just like that, we had closed around $63,000 in cash collected up to this point. This was just a little bit over 1 month of doing this as well. And look, if watching this video makes you want to build one of these types of businesses as well, I made it as easy as I possibly could for you. The entire backend system that ran this entire agency, the funnels, the calendars, the automations, the onboarding processes we had, literally everything from the texting and the emails is all inside of one tool I use called GoHighLevel. And if you sign up through my link in the description below, you'll get 30 days completely for free, plus my entire 10-hour-long training on how to start your own AI agency, which is this business model from complete scratch today if you're starting, whether you have $0 in your bank account or you have thousands of dollars. You get a huge community full of people winning and 5 weekly Q&A calls, including calls with me every single week that you can show up to and ask me your questions. And I really just walk you through all the exact systems that we used inside of this entire video and inside this challenge, where I actually still run this agency today. Originally, I thought it would just be a cool challenge that we'd run for 30 days and see how it does, but this has been an agency I've been running almost up to a year at this point, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys inside the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.